All right, so what's up, everybody? Happy Father's Day. If you're a father, let's get straight into this Father's Day haircut. So today is Father's Day. I'm getting ready to go to church later on today, so I'm just up cutting my hair. If you are a father, shout outs to you, much respect to you. I am a father of three, two sons, one daughter. So happy Father's Day to me as well. As we all know, fathers are very important, in raising kids and all of those good things. It's just such a important job that we have, in regards to being fathers. I love every moment of it. It can definitely be a challenge at times, but I just love every moment of being a father. So, I'm just down here cutting my hair. I'm a greeter at my church. So every third Sunday, I'm a greeter. When people come in, you just basically say hello. If it's their first time there, you welcome them, say welcome to our church, all of those good things. So that's what I do every third Sunday. Today is the third Sunday, so just getting ready for that. Want to be presentable, and all of those good things. I mean, I could just easily throw on a hat, but I'm like, it's Father's Day. Let me get a little crispy out here. Take these glasses off. All right, so in regards to being a father, the thing that I like best about being a father is that you can literally make the world a better place. How sometimes people bring up that topic, well, what are you doing to make the world better? When certain things happen socially or whatever, people talk about clubs, people talk about programs, education, extra curricular activities and things like that. And all those things are good. But my favorite thing about being a father is that you can literally mold future leaders, future adults, since they're a baby. As soon as they come out the womb, you can start telling them about life. You can start telling them certain morals and principles and just things like that to live by. So that when they get older, they go out there, they become teenagers, they become young adults, they become grown adults. You've educated them, you've trained them up in the way that they should go, like the Bible tells us in Proverbs 22 verse 6. You've trained them up in the way that they should go. You've raised them to the best of your ability, and what I love about that is that I just believe that makes the world a better place. When people do that, especially with fathers. You got to really just train your kids up in the way that they should go. Give them values, give them things to live by. All of those good things. And not to say that things will be perfect. They never will. But I firmly believe, you try your best to train, to raise your kids, educate them, homeschool them, put them in school, whatever you're going to do. And at some point, hopefully you guys can hear me over these tremors. At some point, you're going to see the fruits of that, in their grades and their behavior and who they choose to hang out with, certain things that they choose to do socially, staying out of trouble and things like that. And don't get me wrong, I mean, no kid is perfect. I wasn't a perfect kid, great parents. My father passed away about 4 years ago. Fantastic father. He taught me a lot. Gave me a lot of wisdom, gave me a lot of instruction and all of those good things. So I'm definitely thankful for him. I wasn't perfect, growing up, but I really appreciate, how I was raised. Really do. So I'm just trying to return that to society. Because if you'll notice, sometimes, things happen in the news and things like that, and people wonder, oh man, where's the parents at? Where's the father at? Things like that, and that stuff that's the real deal right there. I mean, programs, activities, clubs, all that type of stuff. All that stuff is fine and dandy. It's super nice and all of that, but where it's really at is your parents, especially your father. that's where it's really at in regards to, especially with men. You raising sons, but even with daughters too. That's where it's at. You gotta have a good father that's out here, in their child's life. Showing them the ropes. Not only just with behavior, not just with behavior and grades and social things and stuff like that, but financially as well. With so many different topics that you can touch on throughout the course of your child's life. And again, I know I keep mentioning clubs and programs and stuff like that, and those things are cool. I'm gonna keep emphasizing that. Those things are great. But if you'll notice, a lot of the clubs and stuff like that, programs, they can't duplicate what a parent can do, especially a father, because when you have that child in your life, their whole life, from the time they come out the womb until they move out, 21, 25, however old they are when they move out, you've got all those years of instruction, of showing them the ropes, giving them financial guidance, giving them social guidance, trying to instill, Christian values in them, and all of those good things, So it's just hard to duplicate, what a parent can do, especially a father. Yo, you came down to get your banana cake, boo-boo? You made banana bread? Raven? You came to get your banana bread? Yeah. I'm making a video too. So I'm making a video too. Yeah. Yeah, but that's my favorite part about being a father, knowing that you can train your kids up in the way that they should go, and you just hope and pray that they follow your instruction. I mean, I place my faith in that. I place my faith in Proverbs 22:6. I know our kids won't be perfect and all of that, but man, that's my favorite thing about being a father right there. Make the world a better place. So when they get grown, they're not some of the people out here, wilding out, being on the news, all that types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of that, it starts in the home. How are you disciplining your kids? What are you telling your kids about? How are you raising them, and all of those good things? And I mean, things can still happen, but just imagine if everybody is on that same page. Hey, we're gonna train our kids up as best as we can. We're gonna raise our kids to the best of our ability and all those good things. Tell them, teach them to be, great citizens, stay out of trouble. Don't get into any crime, drugs, things like that. So, I mean, society won't be perfect, but it'll be a lot better than what it is now, especially with fathers in their lives, Usually I cut my hair with my contacts on, but today just got a little bit lazy, and I just got my glasses here, so it's kind of hard for me to see doing this without my contacts on. But I'm gonna make it work. Let's go back over this section again. So if you checked out my last video, a little bit off, well, way off topic here, but if you checked out my last video here, you can see that I used the razor blade to shave my head bald for the first time. But what I did was I had like a very slight itch So I just told myself, you know what, I'm gonna let my scalp heal for like a week or so, go back to the drawing board, and just continue to cut my hair using these Andis T outliners. So I'm back to doing that. Eventually I'll try the razor again. I've got a safety razor that I've never used it. I've got a safety razor upstairs too that I've never used by Bevel. So eventually I'll be trying that out. It's only got one blade in comparison to the 5 blades that those Gillette razors had. So if you're wondering why I'm going back to these Andis T outliners, that's why. Because with these I have 0 irritation whatsoever. And I'm gonna have to put my glasses back on, y'all, because I'm missing all these spots. It's crazy. This is why you shouldn't be lazy. I didn't feel like putting on my contacts. I didn't put these glasses back on because it's gonna take me much longer to do than it needs to. Let's see. I got done. I got a spot there. But yeah, you know, I enjoy being a father. Hope everyone out there has a great Father's Day. Definitely go out and celebrate yourself, or if your wife is going to celebrate you, your kids, definitely want to celebrate. Definitely want to do that. Gotta find time to celebrate yourself. And also gotta be able to allow other people to bless you as well, and appreciate and love on you and appreciate you and all of those good things, you know. So I'm going somewhere to eat today. I don't know where. Going to get something to eat though. Going to church, just spending time with family, you know, nice and simple. You know, I'm not really into big extravagant stuff, you know. That's all it takes for me, just simple stuff, you know. So going somewhere later on, eat some good food. Nice. Go ahead. Like this, so yeah, I just like to keep it simple. You know, that's basically all we're gonna do today, unless there's something else my wife got planned or something like that, a surprise or something. But even if it's not, like I'm fine with just simple things, going out to eat, going to church today, spending time with family and the kids, and all of those good things. I'm totally fine with that, you know. So one thing that I'm an advocate for though is just even outside of Father's Day, you know, even if it's not Father's Day, you know, it's good to give people their flowers, you know. If your pops is still in your life, you know, still alive, like I said, my dad passed away about 4 years ago, but if your pops is still in your life, you know, man, love on them, appreciate them, respect them, all of those good things, because tomorrow is not promised. Yeah, tomorrow is not promised, so love on your pops while you can, appreciate them, even if you beefing with them or something like that. I know people who, you know, they beefing with their dad, and you know, they don't really like their pops and stuff like that, and you know, some people even feel like it's for a justifiable reason, you know. Man, you know, life is short, you know, and tell you a trick of the enemy, a trick of the devil, you know, what he'll do, how you just mad at people in a state of not being forgiven, you know, not wanting to reconcile, being bitter, being mad, just all of those things. And then somebody will leave this world, and then you'll have this big sense of regret, That's what Satan does. He loves to do stuff like that. So I'm a big advocate for loving on people, forgiving people. I know it's easier said than done. I didn't have any beefs or anything like that with my pops, but I really appreciated him. And the same thing I'm saying on here is the same thing that I used to tell him, when he was alive. I appreciated him as a father, what he taught us, the instruction that he gave us, and all of those good things, So, man, just love on your pops if he's here, because my pops is not here, and I wish he was here, So, these glasses on. Another thing that I'll throw in there too, I'm a big advocate for this too. I really need to live it more though. I really need to be more intentional about it. But today is Father's Day, and by default, a lot of people will tell you like, "Oh, Happy Father's Day. I appreciate you," and things like that. But it's just good throughout the course of the year too, to just throw in that appreciation, for your pops. Like, it doesn't have to be in June for Father's Day. It can be January, February, March, April, May, so on and so forth. Just a random day of the week. Be thankful at any given time. I'm a really big advocate for that too. That just came across my mind one day. I'm like, well, I can't speak for everybody, but why do you wait for holidays to come around? Christmas, your mama's birthday, whatever holiday is coming up, before you reach out to somebody and say, man, you know what, I really love you, I appreciate you, so on and so forth, which is good. But it's like, oftentimes a lot of people, just wait until holidays, wait until birthdays, and it's like, I forgot what it was that really triggered it for me, but it just came across my mind one day, like, why does society do that? Why do we wait until holidays to really show appreciation, when you can do that at any given time throughout the year? Just something to think about. But yeah, so I try to be more intentional about things like that, I try to tell my wife, like, hey, I appreciate you, things like that, just throughout the year. Even my mom, she introduced me to Christ, at a young age, and every now and then I reach out to her, like, hey, via text message, like, hey, like, thanks for introducing me to Christ, I love you, all those good things, just give people their flowers, while they're still here, because life is short, people go, and oftentimes that's when people start thinking like, oh man, this is what I really appreciated about this person, but now they're gone, you can't even tell them. Have you ever told them? You go to funerals, and a lot of people do that thing. People get their remarks and say, oh man, this person was this and that and the other. And all those things are good, those are great. And then oftentimes you'll even hear people go up there and give remarks and say, man, I never told this person this, that, and the other. And it's like, that's cool, but it's like, wow, just imagine the possible impact that would have had if you told them that while they were still living, and there's no knock on them, it's just my perspective on it, Out here getting crispy, getting fresh. Oh, let me get up under my neck, man. I'm just all over the place today. Usually I start with my neck. I'm just all over. But yeah, give people their flowers. You don't have to wait until a holiday. Like just the other day. Let me see. I'm trying to talk and do this. But just the other day, took the wife and the kids out, get something to eat. Went to this little pizza spot, by the hospital that all our kids were born at, and just so, just celebrated their life. You know, they were all born at that hospital. You know, just a random day. And to me, you know, that's what it's about, you know. Just appreciating people, loving on people. You know, you don't necessarily need a holiday to tell you to do that, you know. Yeah, so I think too that, you know, that's why, you know, a lot of times around Christmas, you see a lot of people. This is just my perspective, okay? I'm not saying that this is the 100% facts, but in my perspective, I think that oftentimes around Christmas, you see a lot of people, you know, they're fluttering around, they're doing a lot of last minute shopping and things like that, because I think they feel kind of pressurized to give a gift. And it's like, okay, if you're loving on people throughout the year, you know, you're being generous, or you're giving a gift, or just reaching out to somebody, you know, saying that you love them, or seeing how they're doing. Now, when Christmas comes, you don't feel that same pressure, you know, to go out and get a gift or to love on somebody on, you know, just on Christmas Day, which is good. But if you're practicing that throughout the year, you know, it makes it that much easier, because it's like you're gonna look at Christmas like, oh, I do this all throughout the year anyway. No pressure on me, you know. So I haven't always lived that, but it's just a realization that I had. I want to say this started for me probably, I don't know, maybe a few years ago. I forgot what exactly it was that triggered that thought though. But I was like, why do we wait till holidays and birthdays to really show people how much we appreciate them and things like that, you know? And ever since then, I've just tried to be more intentional when it comes to, you know, loving on family and things like that. You know? So yeah, so if you're, like I said, if your pops is still alive, you know, love on them, appreciate them, you know, respect them, you know, all of those good things. Enjoy your time with them, call them, text them, because man, I wish I could do that with my pops, you know, that he passed away, you know, just the smallest thing, you know, the NBA finals just ended. Usually we'll be talking about basketball, stuff like that, sending text messages or talking on the phone, and I can't even do that no more, you know, and that's just simple. You know, that's I was telling my mom the other day, like, it's just the really simple, small things that I'm no longer do with my pops, that I cherish and that I miss the most. You know, just talking about basketball, just talking about little things in life. You know, not even major things. It's just those little tiny things. You know, so if your pops is still alive, you know, man, I'm telling you, love on them. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate them. Forgive them, you know, all those good things. I know a lot of people, you know, like I say, a lot of people be beefing with their pops, mad at their pops, you know. You know, I'm not minimizing what happened. I mean, I'm not all in people's business like that. But some people that I do know personally, you know, there's some pretty rough stuff that happened. But it's like, you know, you still want to love on people, you want to forgive people. I'm telling you, that's the trick of Satan. I mean, your pops pass away or something, and say you beefing with them, and it's just, man. Cook this thing out, tingle it up. Boo boo, you want to be in my YouTube video? You don't want to? Can you tell YouTube where you're taking me tomorrow? Well, today? Can you tell YouTube where you taking me today for Father's Day? No? Have I seen what? Oh, it's in here. Let me get it. You need it right now? Hold on. There you go. Yeah, I got it recording right now. I'm all over the place, man. Yeah, but love on your pops, forgive them, all those good things. Man, life is short. Even if it's not your pops, even if it's somebody else in your life, you know, just love on them, appreciate them, because man, you know, life is but a vapor, you know, like the Bible tells us, you know. All right, I'm out here looking crispy. All right, so I don't want to make this video too long. I'm about to line up my beard now, line up my mustache a little bit more. But yeah, so if you're watching this, you're a father. Shout outs to you. By the way, you guys check out the website, lightshinecreations.com, Christian-based t-shirts, free shipping. But yeah, if you're a father, shout outs to you. Happy Father's Day to you. I'm about to finish lining my beard up. Like I said, I'm a greeter at my church on third Sundays, which is today. So, you know, when people come in, you know, hey, welcome to the church. How's it going? All those good things. So just want to be presentable, be crispy, and all those good things. So, and also celebrating Father's Day today. You know, I don't know where my wife is going to take us. But like I said, I'm a simple dude, you know, even if it's just to a restaurant, after church, whatever, come back home, call it a day. I'm totally fine with that, you know. So shout outs to all of the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to you guys, fathers. Like I say, love on your pops, forgive your pops, all of those good things. I feel like I'm leaving out something that I wanted to talk about in this video. Can't remember off the top of my head. So I'll finish up this haircut, sweep up all this hair. There's a mess in here. Hop in the shower, get a little bit of sleep before church, before the kids wake up and all that. And enjoy this Father's Day. Peace out. Happy Father's Day, you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Boom. Peace out.